Welcome to episode 3 of the tune-up. Apologies for the couple-minute delay, but nonetheless, we are here and hopefully the show is rolling. Reason we're late is we were trying to do a couple last-minute things, and nonetheless, though, we're rolling. And it's about 8:04 p.m. local time here on the East Coast, and we are on the air. Boy, we are glad to be back for episode 3, one of our maybe most exciting episodes that won't directly be coming off of a race this season. We'll be recapping the Daytona 500, not recapping, previewing, I should say. We'll be looking forward to recapping it next week. But this show, we're going to take the time to preview all things that are Daytona, as well as look ahead to the NASCAR season. All 36 races ahead of us. We're going to make some bold predictions, some big picks in not just Daytona, but we're going to have a bit later on our championship predictions as well for the entire seasons ahead. Uh, just kind of running down what else we're doing here, though, as we'll quickly get into this intro. Like I said, just running a bit behind here. That's on me, though. We're going to be headlining the Daytona 500, as I said, including that. We're going to be making race picks here right towards the beginning of the show. We're also going to be making some bold predictions for the Daytona 500. What will happen? When will it happen? Stuff like that. We're going to be introducing our fantasy NASCAR league. We're going to be giving info regarding on how to join that with us, play along, and that'll definitely be one of the fun things we'll have doing all season long here. And it's public, like I said. If you're in the chat, you're in the know, and even if you couldn't make it for today's show, you'll be able to watch the replay, and I think I'll also even make a post on YouTube about how to join as well. We're also going to try and analyze an insightful story Adam Stern posted on Twitter this week about NASCAR fuel, engine, future, stuff like that. If we get into that, we're going to get deep into it. We're also, we're going to, of course, review what was the Super Bowl last night. We're going to just quickly glance over that, some of our post-game thoughts. It was about 24 hours ago, that game. And then later on, we're going to talk about, kind of ties into the Super Bowl segment, guys. Fox and their Motorsports advertisement campaign well on display during the biggest event of the year in the United States. IndyCar and NASCAR getting recognition. And then back into the show here. This is the one that you're going to want to stick around for. Some of our fun trivia segments are going to be right here as we're going to go online and try and name all of the Daytona 500 champions. And we sure could use some help from the chat when we do that. We're going to try and check off every single one within the time limit that the website gives us. And then final segments here. One of the final segments, predictions for the NASCAR season ahead. Some of the bold ones, maybe first-time winners. Do we have any of those in our minds? If we do, we'll let you know. And we'll want you to get involved in the chat as well. We're also going to make championship predictions, maybe even outline the entire chase, what we expect to see from the 2025 playoffs this year. And as well as that, I mentioned we're going to talk some bold predictions for the Daytona 500 race. How about some bold predictions for the NASCAR season ahead? What outstanding and unique circumstances or situations might arise? Well, you're going to want to hear from the panel if we have any of those at the top of our mind. And last but certainly not least, Cody will give his update on some of the dirt racing happenings this week. And then that just leaves us with our chat room open discussion and outro. That is your entire full rundown of episode 3. And guys, we are happy that you're here along with us. Like I said, we tried to get a lot done here earlier on. Boy, I just realized the cameras weren't showing right there. That's my fault. I forget I have to be on the Google Meet for that to show, but that's fixed now. I know we were still heard, and
Yeah.
apologies for that. And that's enough rambling for me because we want to get right into our headlining segment, the Daytona 500, guys, and it's officially race week for that, by the way, and we could not be more excited. And I guess I'll start with you, Derek. This is what I'm going to ask everyone here on the panel to start before we get into kind of our focused conversations here along with the chat. Uh, what are you looking forward to, and just what are your kind of opening thoughts heading into Daytona 500 race week?
Well, Daytona 500. I mean, I hear a lot of people say that this is the Super Bowl of motorsports. I watched a video earlier today. Basically, recapping how brutal the Daytona 500 can be. But yeah, like I expect it to be brutal, and a lot of wrecks to happen usually in the last 3 quarters of the race, uh, the last 50 laps, and big wrecks are going to happen, and there's going to be a lot of heartbreak. But one comes out as a champion, and whether it's luck or skill, who knows?
What say you, Cody Sill?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about this just in this topic. There's a lot to dissect. There's so much going into this 500. There's all the new team movements and all the driver changes, and then everybody just trying to settle in and get back going here for a new season. It's kind of that, the anticipation builds up all week. We're 2 days away from cars on track, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Eastern. On Wednesday is when the cars first hit the track at Daytona for first practice. So everybody's, I know I am. Everybody's getting really amped up. I sure am. I can't wait to see what this season has in store here, and I can't wait for the 500.
And Marcus, is there a better week in the year to you in particular?
I mean, this is obviously the most anticipated race of the year, but personally, I'm looking for this year. We need, I'd say, less wrecking, and we need to have more cars at the end this year for the
Mm.
500 to keep its significance, in my opinion. Because otherwise, that could just be seen as a regular old super speedway race. So I think we need to have something really good happen in the 500, similar to how 2017 went. Just a clean race throughout and maybe a cool finish at the end. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking forward to in this race.
Let me offer my first off-script, kind of rhetorical question here. Do you think the Daytona 500 is better when it finishes with the sun still out, or do you like when it finishes under the light? Marcus, I'll go back to you for that.
I feel like there's a little like here. I think it should rotate. I like the sun being out better for it. It distinguishes the 500 from the Coke Zero 400
Mm.
because I mean that's what the lights were for, is for the 4th of July race or the regular season finale. And we haven't had a Daytona 500 finish with the sun out since 2016.
Yep.
So I just want to see a 500 finish in the 2020s with the sun still out, or maybe even a sunset. I would take that
Yeah,
over just a dark sky.
2017 was like barely after sunset, but I still would not consider that a race finished in the sun, at least comparing to 2016. And so, yeah, it's like usually it's a product of what happens in the races that makes it
hmm
finish under the lights. Cody, I want to hear if you have any thoughts on that. You like when it finishes in the dark?
Yeah, I kind of like. I don't know. I like the day and night. I feel like, personally, I think the race should be pushed back anyhow to maybe 3 o'clock start. Or maybe even a 3:30, maybe at the most a 4. I think it just gets there's just something magical about under the lights. Um, we were so accustomed to it starting the day and then the night now that it almost ends up being that way just by how it is. So, um, yeah, I did want to point this out though, and I don't know if you guys did, but earlier today I happened to watch. LE Productions 49 came out with a video the other day called "The Daytona 500 is Cruel."
That's what I was referencing earlier, Cody.
Mm,
Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed that video, but it brought up a lot of things coming into this 500 that in the last 10 500 races, drivers are statistically 15 times more likely to wreck out of 500 than to win it.
mm.
15 times more. So, uh, I think also when it gets under the lights, that's when we see the action ramp up. I think Dar said the last 50 laps, that's where everything goes down. I think I saw it. There's been 34 cautions in the last 50 laps, the last 10 500s combined. And in the first 150 laps, there's been also 34 cautions. So there's been as many cautions in the last 50 laps as there's been in the first 150 laps and the last 10 combined. So something to look out for coming into this one. I don't think we'll see any change in that.
I think there's no doubt that the chaos in the Daytona 500 certainly plays into the fact that these races finish well under the lights. I mean, we talk about 2016 being the last daytime finish. Well, I think a good more than half the field was still running at the end. There really was no big ones in that race. You had your typical Daytona 500 incidents, but none that were huge. And then 2017 started the chaos that just kept repeating year and year and year again. Derek, I know I didn't give you a chance to talk on this, but is there any thoughts you have? Are you team daytime finish or team nighttime?
I'm a team nighttime finish. I believe that nighttime finishes have a specific aura to them, unlike daytime finishes. And to Cody's point, I like the idea of day to night races more than anything else. I don't know, just ending in the daytime doesn't give as much of an aura as nighttime finish. And in regards to all the cautions going on, I believe the last 4 out of 5 races were finished under caution at the Daytona 500.
Really?
So yeah, so
I guess
uh,
you have a
yeah,
point. Eh,
yeah, yep.
I didn't
Really?
mean to cut you off either, but that is something interesting. I mean, let's think about it here. 2024 yellow, 2023 yellow, 2022 made it to the checkers. They were still wrecking at the checkers. 2021 yellow, and 2020, of course, had the big incident at the checkers. So you do bring up certainly a good point there. And are we going to see it again this year? All signs point to probably, Larry Mack and his trends will be all over it. Not just the late race yellow, but how much carnage ensues. And even when we get to these green-white checkers, that's not the end of it. If they just have to wreck on that first lap of that restart, and we keep doing it over again. And we think about last year, and boy, we remember how crazy they were running before the big one that ultimately sent us to the end right there. They were like
Hmm.
3 by 3. It was reminiscent of 2015 Daytona 500 almost, if you remember that. That was just on the Tubi channel earlier before our show started. I remember watching it. So it's interesting because we have this next gen car that has kind of been a work in progress. Seems like every single season, and we haven't had a super speedway finish yet where there's actually 3 healthy lanes racing. There's no never more than 2. So
Hmm.
that's my 2 cents on all of that. But you know, some other trends going into this race, guys. I think President Trump will be there, and the reason we bring it up is because there hasn't been exactly a positive correlation with him attending these Daytona 500s. Uh, he was at 2001, obviously before being president, and that didn't end well. Was there again in 2020. Didn't end well. What are we in store for this year? Does that kind of meme of a trend live on? Marcus, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe this year can break the trend of that. As I mean, they've made a lot of progress with the next gen safety over the last 3-ish years. So I mean, if there is a driver to get injured, I mean, I think it's got to be something extremely crazy for a driver to get injured, like catch fence mid corner to hurt somebody. So I highly doubt we'll see that, but I don't know. This could break the year. I do really quick want to go back to something though with the recent topic, Zach. Do
Yeah.
you think if NASCAR didn't introduce the stage yellows, do you think the Daytona 500 endings would have been as crazy as they were every year for the last almost for the last 8 years now?
Well, that's a good thing you bring up. I mean, the stage yells not only naturally make the race run longer, they also give the teams guaranteed yells to race for, so it doesn't
Hmm.
really help the possibility of a fuel mileage finish, albeit, Daytona 500 usually has not seen those in recent memory because of the carnage at the end. But to your point, Marcus, when have we started seeing these nighttime finishes? The first year of stage racing, that
Hmm.
was 2017. So it's not a correlation that you probably directly think of, and I feel like we're also just so used to stage racing now for like 7 years, and that it's just kind of gone at the back of our mind. But that's kind of what I'd like to open up to who's in the chat right now as well. If people think stage racing has anything to do uh, with the late Daytona 500 finishes, obviously that, and the fact that these Daytona 500s seemingly start later and later every year. I mean, most races start around 2 and 3 anymore. Anyways, but that's a good point, Marcus. I will stay on our current topic, and Cody, I'll flip it to you. So I did want to add this as well. We had a Chevrolet, wreck with the bad Donald Trump correlation in 2001, then a Ford in 2020 when he intended as a Toyota bound for a catastrophic ending this year.
Well, we've seen some pretty hard hits in the Toyotas here. Obviously, you go look back here at last year during the Spring Dega race, which we were at. Eric Jones there, where the Toyotas were trying to catch up, had that vicious crash in turn three, while all the Toyotas were running together on a different fuel mileage strategy. Um, I really think it's just coincidence. Obviously, I mean, it just happens that happened, but um, I I don't know. I mean, they've made a lot of headway with these cars. But there's still some parts of it where like if it happens, I mean, we look back at the 2020 race. I mean, Newman couldn't have been in a worse spot when he got flipped upside down to have his driver's side exposed right there just as
Yeah.
LaJoy hit him. I mean, that was just happened to be a terrible set of circumstances that happened, and really a freak accident. I, I feel like if we're gonna see something like that again, that's gonna be the ultimate test for the next gen car. I mean, we've seen some flips in the next gen car, obviously. We've seen a handful of them. Obviously, you think of Priuses. Um, I don't know, the A frame and the B frame. All those, they've put so much reinforcement in those. Those are kind of the big contributing factors, in my opinion, in a hit to. Actually, now I think about it, Larson had that hit with Priest back at Dega in was it 2023?
2023.
Hmm.
Yeah, at near the end of that race. And thank God that was on the passenger side
Yeah.
because it did some terrible damage to the framing of that car and the roll bar and roll cage on the passenger side. So I don't know. It's gonna take a lot to really injure these drivers. I mean, obviously NASCAR tries to do their best to make these cars as safe as possible, but you could always expect the unexpected with these things, especially at super speedways.
Goes back to my point I made earlier. These cars, I mean, have we ever had a generation of stock cars in the Cup Series that have been more of a work in progress while they're already in use? We remember how, 2022 with the concussions and stuff, they made big changes to the crush panels in the off season, and here we are. These cars are still work in progress. Kevin Harvick said during the Clash race that these next gens seem to feel just harder when they wreck more than any other generation, and yet NASCAR is generally running some of the lowest horsepower they ever have. Derek, I'll give you a chance before we move on to our race picks. If you wanted to add your 2 cents to the Donald Trump trend, is there anything there, or is it just people on the internet that love to grasp at something and make something out of nothing?
Oh yeah, it's definitely conspiracy. I mean, yes, he was a part of two events that were very serious in NASCAR sport. Dale Earnhardt's death and the Ryan Newman crash that almost took his life. We were all holding our breath during in 2020 when that happened. But in terms of if there's going to be a victim this year, well, we don't know because it's a conspiracy, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but I also want to point out that Dale Earnhardt was in a Chevy, Ryan Newman was in a Ford. Could it be a Toyota this year?
Yeah, I
So
said
just
that.
some small stuff. Yeah, you did say that.
Well, that'll be what we're going to look to, and but the most important thing to look to is will be a Ford, Chevy, or Toyota winning the Daytona 500. We want the chat to send in their Daytona 500 winner predictions, and that's exactly what we are going to get to here on the show as well. Well, it's much easier said than done, but it's the second chance on this show that we've had the chance to make our NASCAR race week predictions. We get two winner picks, one underdog. Chat, please participate as well. Curious to see what everyone thinks. Who's winning the Daytona 500? Let me randomly select here. Cody, who do you have for the Daytona 500?
Man, these super speedways here, they really come down to, who is left standing. And I think we've talked a lot about that. Um, but there is a lot of those drivers here that are consistent. You got Denny Hamlin, Logano, Keselowski. I feel like he's kind of coming back here to the picture for a good super speedway driver. And I think I think Kozlowski. I'm gonna have him as one of my picks. I think he finally gets that first 500. Um, I think he was in the running last year with him and Busher, if I'm thinking correctly, or maybe that was 2023. But
It was
either
20.
way, yeah, they were up there working together. As for my other pick, um, I don't know. I've thought about this a little bit, and there's just so much that goes into these thought processes, and who's got the best car, and who's gonna be there at the end, and who knows how to last. And man, I don't know really. I was kind of iffy on this pick, but I'm gonna go with Ryan Blaney.
Hmm.
Um, he has shown speed. He's won at Talladega a few times. If you remember 2022, he finished I think top. He was right in second there until Cedric put that block on him. He's been up in the last couple 500s up front late in the going, and he's had a chance. So I think he gets through. My underdog is going to be a guy who's already won in the Cup Series at Daytona. That is Justin Haley.
Hmm.
First full time season here with Spire, the number 7 Gamebridge machine. Um, he is a good super speedway racer. He's proved it in um, the Xfinity Series. He's done well at the Cup Series at him. So that's my underdog pick, and uh, I think either any three of those picks here could be a good pick for the 500.
Derek, the floor is yours.
I'm allowed to have repeat picks of Cody, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna enforce the
Okay.
strictness on that.
I agree very much with Cody on the pick of Ryan Blaney. He did have a lot of good top five finishes, and like you said, in 2022 he had a runner up. I think it's his time to get a Daytona 500, and on top of the championship 2 years prior, I think he can get this Daytona 500. My next pick, I would probably choose Tyler Reddick. I thought I've always been impressed by him, not just at Daytona, but just in general. Pretty much anywhere he's at, I feel like he can be a contender to win. He's like very well-rounded driver, and if he has the right help with the Toyotas, I think he can get up there to win. And for my underdog pick, I had to really contemplate here, but give me Josh Berry, shades of Trevor Bayne from back in 2011. I feel like the Wood brothers can get back to that victory lane, and Josh Berry kind of given a lesser piece of the pie here, but he will still get that equipment up there to the top.
And Marcus, who are your Daytona 500 picks?
So again, actually, no, I was gonna say Ryan Blaney. I don't want to say Ryan Blaney now. Yeah, so I think for my first one, I'm not gonna say Kyle Busch either, but this guy has the same next gen Daytona average finish as Kyle. I'm gonna say Bubba is pick number
Uh,
one. He's gotten second in 2018, beating Denny Hamlin. He got second in 2022, nearly beat Cindric for that one. I think, Bubba is a good super speedway racer. He knows how to put himself in those right situations at the right times. So I think he'll pull it off. For my second pick, I'm gonna go with let's throw in a Hendrick driver in there. Let's throw in Kyle Larson. He stayed out of trouble. He showed that he's able to stay out of trouble last year at Talladega. Got a top 5 there, I believe. So let's throw him in the equation. And for my underdog, Daytona, you gotta think of guys like who can just stay out of trouble, who can avoid wrecks and stuff. And I'm gonna say Cody Ware's my underdog.
wow.
He's gotten a top 10 in 2022. He got a top 5 last time at the Coke 0400. I think uh, Cody Ware could be a surprise.
Well, I guess that just leaves me. And while I was listening to your picks, this makes me want to make sure I change the order every week that we do this, because every single driver that came out of your guys' mouth was on my sheet of people I wanted to pick. And while I'm not forcing same drivers picked again, I want to pick differently for the.
There's no way you had Cody Ware.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's no way you
Bro,
picked
you
you had
wait, you
Cody
guys didn't
Ware.
have him?
No,
No.
ain't he like
Okay.
one of the worst picks probably in my opinion?
He was better than Jimmy Johnson last year.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh,
Zach
All
won't
right,
be happy about that.
all righty, okay. let me get my picks out then, and let me start with none other than RFK driver, and that is not Brad Keselowski. He was on my sheet to look out for, and it's Chris Buescher. Has a next gen win at Daytona under the lights, being pushed by his teammate. I mean, what it comes down to for me, guys, is the chemistry that RFK has with the super speedways. I think can really stand out at the end. That's how that night race ended in 2023. And Chris Buescher, not maybe not a stellar super speedway racer, but certainly not a bad one. And I think he knows how to get the job done. Chris Buescher, look out for him. Kind of a bold one for me as far as I'm not picking the super speedway, you know, ringers, so to speak. But I think Chris Buescher might get it done. My other pick, it's got to be Denny Hamlin. He has 3 Daytona 500s, and this guy I think is the best super speedway racer in the Cup Series. Since the Earnhardts retired and some of the other good ones. But Denny Hamlin knows how to just race the super speedways. Actually, the next gen hasn't been as kind to him on the super speedway races. That art's getting maybe lost a little bit. He has said himself that the next gen racing is a bit tougher on the super speedways, but he's been there before and he knows how to get the job done. Denny Hamlin plus Chris Buescher, my 2 race picks. My underdog, I was kind of going up and down here and wondering, who stands out to me. I mean, quite frankly, you could just randomly pick an underdog from the basket and you'll have a chance at Daytona, especially in the 500. I heard Justin Haley. That was definitely one of my go-tos for an underdog, and some others as well. But for me, give me a Xfinity Series champion under his belt. He has that championship, and it's Cole Custer. And stands out to me because he's coming back to race the Cup Series this year in that Haas factory car. He has experience in the next gen, experience that some of these other underdogs don't have. He knows how these super speedway races go. And even if, he had been running in Xfinity as of late after being in Cup, then going back down, that's an underdog that can get it done for me. So though that's my race pick for the Daytona 500, my 2 picks, 1 underdog, and we've heard it all from the panel as well. We'll try to do on episode 4. We'll go back to these race picks as we did after the Clash, see who performed well and who didn't. All of that yet to be determined. But as we move off of our Daytona 500 topic here, guys, it's a lot to look forward to, and we're going to leave it behind in the show right now, but we're going to stay on the topic kinda with it, and I'll flip it off to Cody and Derek here because we want to give you guys watching the chance to join us all season long for our NASCAR Fantasy League. We've worked on getting that up and rolling this week, and while we can't make picks until tomorrow, we want to take at least a couple minutes here to just introduce it to you guys. So, I'm throwing this off here, Cody, maybe Derek. If you want to screen share, you can do that. If not, you can just inform the viewers on what the NASCAR Fantasy League entails.
Yeah. So NASCAR Fantasy, they've had as Derek here is presenting it. They've had this out for quite a while here. It's gone through a few different phases, and I really enjoy how it is. Obviously, you can't make a pick right now, but we do have a league up. The league is called the Tune-Up, and it does have a password. The password is NASCAR, capital N, um, and then just join up. It's free to everyone that wants to come on in and join with us here. I might actually take the password off, but yeah. So you get 5 driver picks. You get a garage pick, which you could sub out with any of the other picks before halfway. And then, or my bad, before the end of stage 2, actually. And then you have 4 verse picks where you get picked a driver going against a driver, and whichever one finishes higher, that is going to be the guy that um, you would win on. So, and it adds up all the points after each week here. And at the end of the season, we'll have a prize for the winner, but we're not sure what that prize will
Yeah.
be. But we will have a prize for the winner, even if it's one of us. Obviously, here, like it says here, can't create our things till tomorrow. Some of us here in the call have kind of thought about what we want, but we're not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. I thought about releasing mine, but I don't think I'm gonna release mine now. So I think I'm gonna keep my secret here until we get done, and then every Monday we will review these, see how everyone does, check how the standings are doing, and yeah, we'll go from there.
And I also wanted to just just uh, I just want to help you guys if you don't know where to go. Basically, I looked up fantasy NASCAR, and it's one of the first results there. Uh, and you'll be prompted to log in, create an account in order to play.
Because it's through the NASCAR website, right?
Correct. So yeah, there's fantasy live, and then there's also other things you can do. But the one we're gonna focus on is this league here, where we will select the, like Cody said, the five main drivers and the garage driver. And yeah, it should be self-explanatory. You gotta make an entry, and then you gotta associate a league with it. So here's my first entry right here. Don't mind that one, but then you basically press to join the league, and then you can search for the name here. So the tune-up, and that's actually creating a league. But
I think
anyways,
you'll be able to
what's up?
join it on a password basis too. Uh,
True.
but nonetheless, not only are we presenting this on the episode here, I'll try to make a post about it on YouTube or otherwise to get the word out there for the public to join us. And, no matter how many people join, it's just fun to be part of a NASCAR Fantasy League. We want to open this up, allow the audience to join, and because, there's stuff at stake here. You want to be able to say you won any NASCAR Fantasy League you're in. If you're in multiple, that's awesome, kind of like fantasy football you'll see. And hopefully it's competitive. We'll see how many people join up. And I don't know if it'll lock up after the first race or if it'll just keep taking
I think
participants.
it'll keep taking. As far as I know, throughout the season, it should just keep taking participants.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens then. It did occur to me that we glanced over just a sub bullet point to our Daytona 500 segment, and I did say we'll come back to it. And I just wanted to open up the floor to those here and in the chat. Bold Daytona 500 predictions, very broad to say that, but what stands out to you? Are you looking at anything in particular? Marcus, I know you seem to have kind of interesting thoughts usually on this matter. Maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, going into this year, I'm thinking about the open cars, right? So you've got, I think this is one of the most competitive fields to try and make the 500 in years now. So it'll be interesting to see. I think a big name will end up going home, whether it be Truex, whether it be Johnson, whether it be, well, actually, Castroneves can't go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll see an underdog make it, and whether that be BJ McLeod, we see that he can run up front at super speedways now. Now that he's not trying to focus on, will I have a car to make it to the track? It's no, I'm just gonna race this and say screw it. I'm gonna go try and win a race here. I see him, or the guy that was 2 turns from actually knocking Jimmy out last year, JJ Yaley. He's coming back this year. I could see JJ Yaley trying to run it and try and get his way. He'll probably get his way in if push comes to shove.
The seasoned veteran J.J. Yaley. I mean, what a competitive open field it is this year. I would hate to be an open car, and I hate it for being a
Hmm.
Jimmy Johnson fan, knowing that that is not going to be easy to get in. And I just want to see that Shaq scheme make the race. And I don't know how many more Daytona 500s Jimmy will do, but I really wanted to make this one. Cody, what type of predictions do you have on any matter for the Daytona 500? Not just the race, but the weekend in general.
Yeah, I hope to see some great racing, not just through the Cup Series, but through the Truck, Xfinity, ARCA. I think we're set up for a great weekend of racing. One thing that will put a damper, as always, it does, that is rain. Right now, I'm looking at the forecast for this weekend in Daytona Beach, Florida, and Thursday and Sunday they look a little.
So is your bold prediction that it's going to rain?
Yeah, and I know last year we had the Xfinity and the Cup on the same day. Right now Saturday looks like a beautiful day for Daytona, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, 40% chance on Thursday, and a 74% chance of on Sunday. However, it does sound like it will be early morning, so that could be good for that. Um, Friday even looks like it might have a chance as well. Now that I look at it, which I don't know where they'd put the truck race at because Saturday's already crammed with a ARCA race at 12, Cup practice at 3, and an Xfinity race at 5. So you're throwing a bunch of stuff there together if you got one more thing on Saturday. But I don't know. I don't know really what to expect. Every time we come to Daytona, I don't know what to expect here, and I'm always I'll always leave happy with Daytona. You know, there's always going to be those what ifs or those things that disappoint you, but as a racing fan, it's just good to have your racing series back, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be watching practice. I know Allen Iverson won't be happy about it, but I'm going to be watching practice, and that'll be on Wednesday. I'll probably have to watch it at work, but I'll somehow make it work.
All
There's no
right.
doubt about it. So
Well, so I'll take it as, I think you have a bold prediction for rain, and why not? Seems like it rains more often than not these days at Daytona. Derek, you're the last one here before we get to me. It's random, but what bold predictions might be running through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, like just like you said right there, it's random. I don't really have a detailed prediction for you.
Mhm.
All I can say is that with I believe 45 entrants in this year's Daytona 500, I believe only 5 of them will go home. Is that correct? I believe.
uh, 4 or 5 total, yes.
It could
Okay,
be 4 if Castro Neves makes it.
so you're telling me there are going to be 41 cars in this field?
There
It could
could
be, yes,
be.
if Castro Neves makes it.
All right. Well, with that being said, I mean, I'm excited to see who's gonna miss the race and who's also gonna make it. You got like people like Chandler Smith, BJ McLeod. I believe Jimmy Johnson's on that list. Just overall, just looking at the whole perspective of the weekend, and just excited to see what's gonna happen here.
All right, well, let me offer this bold prediction. I feel like I have an exciting one here. Or, it's kind of typical when you hear bold predictions that you also hear someone say this, but for me, I'm going flipping the Cup Series, flipping the Truck Series, no flipping Xfinity, no flipping ARCA. Uh, and so I think we're going to see 2 out of 4 races will have a flip. And then
Mm.
another thing that I don't know why, but I mean, we're making bold predictions. They're not meant to make sense. We're going to see a wreck on pit road, and whether that means a car spins on a pit road and or a wreck that starts on the track and cars end up on pit road, or cars just run into each other while trying to pit. Wreck on pit road, that's very random, but this is what we're doing for bold predictions. So I'll leave it at that. We'll flip back off to the topic of Daytona 500 right now, and we're actually going to channel as something we were supposed to do last episode. Let's run through this quickly. And Dar, I do want to start with you for our Clash race ratings because you were the one that ultimately offered this format for ratings. So why don't you introduce it quickly and give your ratings?
Yeah, so we're gonna basically rate these races based on 4 total criteria, with one of them being an overall rating. You can either average it or just give a feel rating. But for the first subsection, we got the racing rating, meaning just how the racing went, um, and just overall how the passing went, and like if there was any too many wrecks or something, your rating would probably be lower, or if there was like a very good amount of racing, it would be higher. That's very discretionary. And then the next category we have is the excitement rating. It's kind of similar to the racing rating, but you can differentiate in different ways how you feel choose. Like for example, if there's a lot of big moments in the race, like certain passes or certain dumpages that happen with other cars, you can raise that excitement rating. And then the final subsection is the finish rating, meaning within the last 5 to 10 laps, just showing how many cars are passing each other, and if there's like a close finish at all, you can rate it high there. And like I said earlier, it all comes down to the overall race rating, which comes out as either an average or a field rating. So just to give an example, the racing rating that I'm going to give is an 8 out of 10. I believe that uh, the LCQ was probably the best form, but in terms of the actual main racing, it wasn't like 10 out of 10. It was very relaxed, but I still give it an 8 out of 10. For the
All right.
excitement rating, what's that?
And I might have to ask you to remind us about the categories when you're done, but you can
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, of course. The next category is excitement rating. Overall, the excitement kind of fizzled out for the main event. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I mean it was a good race overall. But yeah, I'd give the excitement rating 6 out of 10, and the finish as well wasn't as exciting as you might expect it from the heats or LCQ. I gave it a 5 out of 10. So overall race rating, it averages out to a 6.33, which I lean up on the higher feel of a 7
All
out
right,
of 10.
let's flip it over to Cody following that format quickly here. What are your ratings?
I think for what was this first one was race rating?
Racing. Yep.
Yeah, racing. Um, I had to give that a 7.1. I honestly expected a little, maybe just a little bit more passing. Was happy to see the outside line actually able to hold for a bit on restarts, and even a handful of times be the better line to be in. We saw Danny Hamlin get past Chase Elliott that way for the lead there at halfway. But I'd give that one a 7.1. Then for the excitement rating, I'd give it an 8.8. And the reason why is, and Dar, maybe you can correct me on this though, but like the excitement rating, I feel like could also entail how you feel before a race. Like the Daytona 500, you're excited for that. That already has built up,
Yeah.
excitement for you. So I give that one an 8.8. Really happy to see Bowman Gray. It was really cool to see the track and see how it was. And for
I,
the
I
finish,
agree with your assessment on that.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
I was scared to see if I did that right.
Yeah.
Um, but and finally the finish rating. Although my driver won, I have to give it a 6.1. The lap cars really kind of fizzled out the battle that was brewing between Blaney and Chase. It kind of just died there, and I think Blaney even said it though he used up all his tires and he kind of just fell back. If that battle had happened about 10 laps earlier, I think the number would have been way higher because Blaney would have been right there. But 6.1 for that, and that averages for me after everything a 7.3. So overall, yeah, 7.3. I feel like that's a good rating for that weekend.
All right, Marcus, over to you.
Yeah, so for my racing rating, I said 8 out of 10. I mean, you go to Bowman Gray and you expect it to be a crap show, right? And the race completely proved to be, not that. It actually somehow proved to be a very clean short track race, which is kind of crazy in today's NASCAR. But, overall, I mean, I just feel like there was good battles throughout the field, especially up front. Excitement rating a 7 out of 10. I mean, a little part of Bowman Gray's, you expect craziness. And I feel out like throughout the race, there was like some moments here and there. You had the Bush Suarez incident. You had, Bell and Hocevar. That was a pretty big moment in the race. But other than that, I mean, I feel like it was exciting racing through the field as well as, I mean, there were some exciting wrecks and stuff. Finish rating 7 out of 10. I mean, nobody full sent anybody. Nobody wrecked anybody. I think that's a win in my books. I think my average here is a 7.5 out of 10.
All right, Dara, remind me, we got racing. What else?
You got
Finish.
you got the racing excitement finish, and then your overall.
All right, racing, excitement, and finish. So for me, the racing was about a 7.4. Uh, kind of. better than what I expected. Then at the same time, there's moments where it's like, yes, what I expected. Remember, next gen not known for its short track package. I think one of the saving graces was that they were able to get physical with each other just because of the nature of the racetrack. And when drivers got put in certain desperate situations, we saw kind of cross that line that made for the excitement. Nonetheless, though, we saw uh, to me, like I said, better than expected short track racing. So for that reason, I give the racing product a 7.4. Uh, then for me, the what am I missing? I have the finish star. What am I missing?
Your excitement and finish, yeah,
All
and
right.
the overall.
Yep. So the excitement for me, it's about it kind of goes up because it's seeing NASCAR racing for the first time in the new calendar year. For that reason, I didn't get as amped as I would for some other races, but the excitement is a smooth 8-0 for me, an 80% out of 100. And I'll move on now to the finish. It was looking to be good there. Ryan Blaney was catching up, then fizzled out at the end. Ryan Blaney certainly did not have his way with lap traffic, while Chase Elliott, as the leader, actually seemed like he maneuvered it better. Usually that's not the case. Usually once the car gets lapped, they don't give a hard time to the second and third place and so on drivers, but that didn't help the finish. That combined with the fact that Ryan Blaney just didn't quite have what it took. I mean, he came from last anyway. You got to give kudos to him. So the finish was a 6-1 for me, better than a 5. I put it at a 6-1.
Okay, and just to give you a perspective, your average was a 7.16.
All right. Yeah, that's probably how I'll approach the overall. Going forward, I'll take that. So
All right.
then let's move on here before we take our break of the show. Shifting off of NASCAR and motorsports in general, we had the Super Bowl this weekend, guys, and I think we all watched it or at least heard of it and checked in every now and then. Curious what the chat thinks, but I guess let's start by grading the Super Bowl like we would a race, just on a scale of 1 to 10. Overall, let me flip it back to Derek.
Yeah, the Super Bowl had a lot of great moments per usual, great commercials, and I honestly didn't expect the Eagles and Chiefs to be that uh, lopsided of a game. I thought it was going to be close, just like how it was in 2022. But that Eagles defensive line, that was a masterclass by them. I believe Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, uh, Sweat, and there's another one I'm missing. But yeah, those four just held down that defensive line all game. Did not blitz whatsoever. Uh,
DeGene?
what's that?
Was it DeGene?
He's a cornerback, but he did
Okay.
get a pick six during that game. That was a big moment. It was also his birthday in that game.
And
So
Saquon's.
oh, it was Saquon's too. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, so that was a very, very nice scene for the Eagles, but yeah, Kansas City Chiefs fans are not too well. For the overall rating, though, I definitely would give that a 7 out of 10. I mean, it wasn't a close game, but at the same time, it provided great football, at least on one part of the team or one part of the side.
Yeah, I'll actually change up the order here. I'll take the floor for the rating and just discussing it. Gotta be one of the most disinteresting Super Bowls I've watched in my lifetime. I will say I have memories of watching Super Bowls going back to about the Patriots versus Giants that was played in Indianapolis around 2012 or around there.
2011 one.
Yeah, and so I kind of my memories of being able to recount what happened in Super Bowls go about that far back, and maybe the Super Bowls before that just a little bit. And it's between this Super Bowl and the one that was in Atlanta between the Rams and Patriots that are the most interesting ones I've ever watched. The saving grace with the Rams and Patriots one, for as boring as it was boring because it was low scoring and was not really good football. But I mean, the game was in large part a one-score game for the good majority of it. Can't be said about this Super Bowl. And while I wish both teams would lose, that was my perspective on it. I will give credit to what the Eagles did. They came out and just stuck it to the Chiefs. But like I said, pretty disinteresting to me. Quality of game. You don't want that for a Super Bowl. For the biggest event of the year in the states, and for that reason, I give it a 4 out of 10. I'll flip it to you, Cody.
Yeah, honestly, at the beginning there, the Eagles looked like Kansas City are found a way to stop Saquon, and honestly, I thought, okay, well, this is not good for the Eagles because that's what they needed to really get going. Saquon's really been the fuel of the fire for that team this season since joining them from the Giants. Uh, but then they got the ball back after getting stopped in Kansas City quickly, and it really went on from there. I was very surprised to see how well it was actually. And Zach, you're not gonna like this, but it had a little bit of shades of the Packers Cowboys from the wild card of last year, where the Packers went up big on the Cowboys by the first half. Um, and I honestly thought there may have been a chance for a comeback, just knowing Mahomes. But yeah, at Dar's point, that defense for Philadelphia was unreal. They definitely played their best game when it mattered the most, and I think that really I think Jalen Hurts even said in his interview, defense wins championships, and no doubt, if that defense wasn't playing the way it was, I think it would have been a very high scoring game because obviously the offense on the Philadelphia side was going on all cylinders, but it was I don't know. I was kind of happy to see the finish. I really didn't have you know a big push in either team, so I was just hoping for a good game. It was all right. Seemed better, obviously, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the Packers can do when they get to Super Bowl next year.
Okay, Marcus, on that, let me hear your thoughts.
So yesterday's Super Bowl, I think I found it very entertaining, not for like, why you'd watch football for a close game. I found it entertaining of how much the Chiefs got blown out, not coming from someone who's not a big Chiefs fan. Uh, I think the fact that the Chiefs, I mean, side cap tally of this yesterday, I believe the Chiefs got 6 flags, the Eagles got 7, which I think that's the closest, you know, that both teams have been in flags when it comes to a Chiefs game. So yeah, I think it was very awesome to see Jalen or to see Saquon Barkley. DeJean's pick six. That was the most insane part to me. I mean, that just had everyone at the Super Bowl party. As that we were all going crazy for that. So
Yeah, when he ball hawked that, I also went crazy. I thought that was an amazing interception.
that was just that's like something you would see in like Football Fusion or something on Roblox. That's something you would see in that. So for the fact that the Chiefs got blown out as bad as they did, I'm going to give the game a 10 out of 10. Thank you, Philadelphia, for
Mm.
saving America.
Okay, well, with that, let's stay on the topic here of Super Bowl, but let's kind of give it a motorsports theme here. Before we go on break, and let's keep an eye on our bottom right timer. We've got about 5 minutes to discuss how Fox really went off with their advertising campaign, certainly of IndyCar, but NASCAR got recognition as well. Obviously, Fox being the carrier network now for both of those series this year. And that was certainly kind of enjoyable to watch. I mean, those IndyCar commercials, I think they played all three of Palou, Award, and Newgarden throughout the game. And we also saw Joseph Newgarden and Joey Logano there during the pre-game show. They did a whole thing showing them while they're in their fire suits. So what a thing it was to see Fox really giving them the recognition they uh, deserve, obviously with the TV contract they have. But IndyCar's commercials blow NASCAR's out of the water. Cody, I'll start with you. Do you see any thing that kind of catches your eye with how Fox is advertising both?
Yeah, I think Fox here kind of went kind of the new age, not really edgy, I guess, but kind of more appealing to the younger fan, and definitely the New Garden one. With just how they presented it, and I really liked it. I'm a big New Garden fan, so it was a good commercial to see that. As for NASCAR, it had the Joey Logano thing, and it also had the Daytona 500 itself. They weren't really bad commercials. I thought they were okay visually, but it just didn't have that wow factor that those IndyCar ones had.
Yeah, well, and I'll kind of add my 2 cents to it. I thought I might have saw that NASCAR's creative department doesn't give Fox as much freedom with the commercials as IndyCar does, and thus that's why you see the big difference. I do like
I
how
can see that.
Fox, I mean, the way they approach the IndyCar commercials is just the absolute best way to do it for IndyCar that hasn't had much advertisement. Certainly come off of the past couple years. NBC outside of the Indy 500, they weren't getting that much recognition. Most people that watch the Indy 500 don't know that there's other races that year, and Fox is making sure that everyone knows it, though. Right now, we're only seeing these ads advertising the driver. It'll be interesting to see how Fox advertises each IndyCar race upcoming. But kudos to them for the IndyCar commercials. I've not seen one person that thinks that those are awful. Everyone thinks those are good, and it's the exact way that you need to advertise out to fans because everyone knows IndyCar is trying to gain fans. They don't have as big of a following in the U.S., certainly compared to NASCAR or even F1, and Fox is trying to change that. So that's my 2 cents on it. I'll flip to you, Marcus, for your thoughts on
Mhm.
that.
Honestly, I mean, I felt like the the Daytona 500 ad compared to the IndyCar ads, it just felt like there was a lack of creativity
Yeah.
in those ads. I feel like they could have had a little more fun with the Daytona ad, bring back something like Daytona Day. Those are interesting ads. Back in the day that the average fan would be watching like, oh, cool, NASCAR's hyping this up. I should probably watch it. And then you tune into this year's Super Bowl and it's just, oh, here's some random guy in a Pennzoil suit. Oh, look, the rainbow car won the race. Like
Mm,
a lot of the casual fan is not going to know the
yeah.
significance of Jeff Gordon winning the 500 or Dale Earnhardt winning the 500, right? When they think of it, they think of, oh, I'm going to go have a good time, cookout, let's have fun.
Yeah, that is a good point you bring up. Do you think that those Daytona Day commercials were too cheesy? I remember those.
I think it reminds me of, I mean, if we're saying that the IndyCar ads are good, I mean, I remember watching David Land just absolutely trash on how many Smithfield ads were in them. But
Mm,
honestly, as a kid, I mean, they were interesting. I liked it. I thought it was a good way to get NASCAR out there. And if we're not calling the IndyCar ads cheesy, why call Daytona Day cheesy?
all right. Well, Derek, final thoughts here before we go to break on this topic.
Yeah, just quickly. The only version of the commercial I saw was Paddle Award. I thought the presentation of the whole thing was awesome, and they really knocked it out of the park with IndyCar. And yeah, like you guys said, the NASCAR portion, they seemed like not to have a lot of creative freedom.
All right. And nice quick thoughts right there. We're gonna head to our break halfway point of the show. We're actually past halfway. On the other side of this break, we should be on our final half hour of the show. For now, very, very quick. We'll be back in just a matter of moments. And we are back from break, and we've got maybe the most exciting segment of the show. Join along, play with us, send your help in the chat. We will probably especially need help on some of the later ones here, but we are about to play naming all of the Daytona 500 champions here, as you could see on the screen. And oops, we are quite excited for this one. Let me get the screen back up. Probably need that on the stream. There we go. Well, what do we do? Do we get right into this, guys? And
Yep.
Yeah,
do we
you got
want
a
to
timer.
start from the top and go down?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
start from last year. I think I can probably name
Oh
up
wait,
to
hold on, wait.
92.
We gotta start.
Oh, my.
I can name
I could.
consecutively from
I
2017.
could probably give you every winner till 86, and let's see if I do it.
Well, how about we
Okay.
do this here on the panel at least? Let's go Zach. I mean, it's the way it shows on my screen. Zach, Marcus, Cody, Dar. Let's follow that format,
Okay.
and until we can't name them. So,
Okay. You guys ready?
yep.
Yep.
All right. So I'll do 2024.
Yes.
All right. So that would be William Byron. Marcus.
Okay, and then the lap 200 leader in 23 was Kyle Busch. No, I'm kidding. It's Stenhouse. It was Stenhouse.
Cody.
22 was Cedric.
Dar.
Was 21 Hamlin?
No.
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 Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Well.
You're gonna love this guy.
Yeah. I'm not the greatest with the
Derek,
history parts.
Derek, look at my fingers.
Big yellow
Um.
3,
car.
4, 3,
Oh.
4,
Todd
3,
Gilliland.
Yeah.
4.
Can you just skip me?
Michael McDowell.
McDowell.
All right.
From Phoenix, Arizona.
Bro, I
Now
was reading
Ricky
that's
Bowman.
43, Marcus. I was like, what the
2020
hell?
was Hamlin.
Yes. Now
Marcus
this
for
will give now. The only
2019.
problem with this
Oh
though,
man.
it'll give us multiple.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah. Okay, so I'll say
So,
2018 then. So Austin Dillon,
so obviously we know. Yes. So
Yeah.
Zach's
So,
favorite.
so who? Cody, you do 2017.
yeah, we had Kurt Busch won that one in a field mileage race.
Or do you know who won 2015?
Is that one Denny Hamlin?
No, it's
No.
a
No,
similar
it would have
scheme
Yes.
to
said
the
it
first
would have
driver.
said Hamlin.
Yeah. Very
Similar
similar.
colors, I should say.
Who wrecked in 2021?
Actually, the only reason why McDowell won was because this guy ran.
Oh, Joey
Derek
Logano?
2.
Yes.
Yep.
That was on the Tubi channel before our show. So then, me for 2014, Dale Jr.
Also the 2004 winner.
I,
And
I'll
the
Yep.
98.
I'll
Oh, it
take
gave Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, it gave Earnhardt Senior.
2013.
No. I'll do
Marcus
2013. I'll do 2013 and 2006. That was Jimmy Johnson.
All right. If I could
That's
spell it.
it's gonna give us Junior Johnson as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
Robert.
Junior Johnson won 1960.
Cody.
2012. Love that race. Stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and that was good old Matt Kenseth beating out my driver Dale Jr. He also won a rain shortened 2009 race.
Dar, who won 2011 on his birthday?
You
Yeah,
mentioned it
I
earlier.
mentioned it earlier. It's Trevor Bain.
Okay, there you go.
So that's back to me for 2010. Give me Jamie Mack.
Little Jamie baby.
Oh, Ryan Newman.
2007.
2007. What a race! This was an all-time classic. If you would have watched all of Speed Weeks and went into that race, you would have said it had been Stewart or Bush, but it was the closer, Kevin Harvick.
All right, no cheating here. 2005 for Dar.
Hard one. I mean, I
Derek.
don't
This was
remember
his
anything about
third.
2005.
This was his third 500 win.
Hint: it's the same number that he drove as the 2024 winner.
Oh, Jeff Gordon.
Yes, he also won in '95, I do believe, in '98,
97. Gordon
97,
won 98. Oh, it was
90.
97, 99.
Yes, you're right.
95
Oh,
might have been Sterling Marlin, I'm pretty sure.
it was Sterling Marlin.
All right,
Actually, we could fill that in. He was also the '94 winner.
Also, not the 2002 winner.
No,
so fill in Marlin.
do you believe Marlin won another one? No, okay.
No, he almost won 2002, but he didn't because of that stupid move.
Well, 2003 and 2001 is Michael Waltrip.
It was.
I think 2003 got rain
Daryl,
shortened.
oh yeah,
Oh,
Daryl,
I
yeah.
gave DW too.
Yes.
Oh, since we were on the 2002 subject, Ward Burton,
That is right.
you
2000, that was Dale Jarrett. That was his third. He also won the 93 version,
did Ned
the
Jarrett win
93
one?
and 96 race.
That wasn't a popular race, was it? 2000.
No, it wasn't. There was a new package, and the
Yeah.
cars did not
Oh,
pass.
that was
I'm pretty sure Dale Earnhardt said that was the worst car he ever
yeah.
drove.
It was a preview of current state of NASCAR back in the old days.
Yes. All right, we're
Was
running
ni-
low on time here.
All
It's
right.
gonna get harder from here.
All right, let's just name out drivers. We don't have to stay in order.
Allison.
Allison. I think Allison
Uh,
was 92.
And then yes, Allison also won it in '88, but it was
It
his
was
dad.
Bobby Allison.
And
Petty, throw
Bobby actually
Petty.
won 2 times.
Throw
Petty has
Petty
won
in
it in
there. 'Cause Lee Petty
79,
Lee Petty
67,
won 59.
59. We're about to get 8 right there.
Yeah, Andretti. He won 1969, I believe, or 1971.
correct.
Oh,
It is
67.
67.
Lund, Tiny Lund.
Yeah,
Did
Tiny
Fireball
Lund.
Roberts win?
I think
He might have.
Roberts may have. Yes, he did.
61. Who won 61? Because that was the year Lee Petty and Johnny Beauchamp wrecked in practice. Let's throw.
We got
Okay,
Pearson on
19.
here. I know he won 76.
Derek Cope 90.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Junior Earnhardt blew a tire.
Oh, 91.
Famous Derek Copeland.
91 was Ernie Irvin.
Was it? It was. I think it's Irvin.
Yeah.
There you
Kel Yarborough.
Oh,
Leroy.
man.
Try Leroy as well, because that one's just spelled
Oh, how do you... There we go.
And then it's
YARBROUGH.
for Leroy
Elliott.
Yarbrough.
Yep.
Elliott won it twice. 86. Ooh. I wonder if Parsons.
Bodine. Jeff Bodine. Bodine.
That is right.
1980 was.
Oh wait, that one might be Buddy Baker, right?
Yeah, that was
That
Buddy
might
Baker.
be.
That
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it
Good job.
was.
Oh shit. Okay.
16. Hold on. Try Leroy Yarbrough. It's spelled different. You didn't do it right. It's YARBROUGH. There we go.
Leroy.
They were not related.
Nope, they were not.
Now we're getting into some really hard ones here.
Got a minute and a half. No cheating.
You said Parsons, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Parsons.
Okay, let's look here.
Gotta think of drivers that were big back then.
Anyone?
Alex Bowman. Yeah.
No. Try Hamilton. Just say Hamilton. See what happens.
Oh, Pete Hamilton. That's right. He won the 1970.
Cool. Okay.
What if you put an old Smith last name in there?
Yeah, like me.
Derek Smith has not won the Daytona 500.
I wish. Got
Does the
45
chat said
seconds.
anything?
Hmm.
No, chat has not said anything about it.
Oh, 39 seconds. Let's see.
Foyt never won. Yes, he did. He won that 70.
Oh, why didn't we think of that?
Okay, so we need 2. We need 3 now. So we need 65, 61. Oh wait, no, we just need 2. Okay.
Try to think of any guy that was big back then that.
These guys are definitely. We definitely don't know these guys. No way.
No, we are. We're gonna feel stupid after one of them. I think. Let's see. 61. I feel like should be one that's known. Marvin Cantor. Oh, Lorenzen. We should have said Lorenzen.
You saw one, but still, not too bad. We got 64 out of 66. We made up a lot of leeway there. There were some that I didn't think we were actually gonna get, but we sure did. So great job there.
The Hamilton one was kind of a shot in the dark. I felt like that would have been a familiar name.
Oh, now we got someone in the chat saying Lorenzen ?
Who said it?
Bar and Cup Rex Racing Network.
Oh man, I think RN was onto something, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
And let's move on. That was a tough loss. How many did we? How many
We
did we
got
lose?
64 out of 66, so
Okay.
we only missed out on 2.
All right. Well, that was our.
We
How
might
about?
want to do that for other races if we could find it.
Yeah, if we can work in trivia, that'd be fun. That'd be tough for some of the other non-crown jewels on the schedule. Like, what? How does history recognize those races and stuff? Like, if the race name changed and whatnot. Well, anyways, we are moving on to our predictions for the NASCAR season as a whole here, and we're on the home stretch of our show. Uh, let's start with any first-time winners. We're focusing on the Cup Series, but if you want to mention any notables in the other series, go ahead. Let's start with Dar. Actually, start with Marcus.
I think personally this season, I think any of the front row guys could put themselves in a position to win. Todd Gilliland, I think he's definitely solidified himself as the leader at front row now, especially with the fact that he outperformed Michael McDowell last year in arguably what we thought would be a lower car. Zach, is something funny?
No, you can keep going.
Okay. No, I think honestly Noah Gregson, this could be, the year either he breaks out or, we see like a little midseason spike like we saw last year and then drop off. Zane Smith is interesting because the beginning of last year he sucked. Like everyone was wondering like what the hell was Trackhouse doing getting him in that Spire car. And then, second half of the season he finds out he's getting fired. Like, okay, I'm gonna go now. Like starts knocking out top fives, top tens, easily outperforming teammate Corey LaJoy on a weekly basis. If I'm correct, he got 2 top fives, one at Nashville and one at the Glen.
He's
So
part of that
any of those,
at Nashville.
All right. Let me flip it to you now, Derek. Any first-time winners come to your mind?
Yeah, like Marcus said, I was going to pick Gregson. I think that he has a great opportunity here at Front Row Motorsports to get equipment to at least win one race this season, whether it be a super speedway or just a random cookie cutter track like Nashville or something. But that's one there, and I'd also pick Josh Berry because that was my underdog pick for Daytona, and I feel like uh, the Wood Brothers Racing can make a car that can win a race potentially in the future.
All right. I'll take it here. We'll change up the order. Has no one mentioned Ty Gibbs yet in the Cup Series?
nobody's mentioned him.
Wow, I don't know. So that surprises me. I
I
think he's
completely forgot, honestly.
think he's definitely going to win. I mean, this is a guy that's almost already had his first cup win multiple different times. I mean, he's kind of matured into the Cup Series now to where he's just one of the other drivers there. Like, it's not a big deal that he's young as he is. Like, he races pretty mature for someone that had some issues there, moving up through Xfinity and, controversy and stuff and some bad racing moments. But this is a guy that can win at just about any track, really. Like, it's not going to be like a random super speedway win. I bet he'll do it at a intermediate or something. I think he can even compete on the road courses. So Ty Gibbs is my main one. Other drivers, yeah, I think Noah Gragson is a good pick for a first-time winner in the Cup Series. Zane Smith, maybe at a super speedway, but I'll just be adamant by picking these two drivers. Ty Gibbs, definite number one guy candidate, and I'll do Noah Gragson as well. Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, for Gregson, I just feel like he's just too inconsistent. He'll lead up to qualifying top 5, top 10 in average speed and just speed in general, and he'll qualify 20th or mid, back of the pack. And it seems like he'll and obviously this is a new team for him, so maybe that changes. But it seems like he had to fight his way up to the good good finishes that he had last year. If they could fix that, then I think maybe he has a chance. I definitely think Ty Gibbs finally will break through with that first career win. I think our rookie of the year from last year will also break through with a win. Carson Hocevar.
Hmm.
Dude's found speed at places and with his car that no one thought was going to be possible. So really, really cool to see that he won the Rookie of the Year last year, going some tough competition. I'll also go with what Dar said, Josh Berry. That win at Daytona last year, I think maybe kickstarted a little bit more fire underneath that Wood Brothers team that needed it really bad. That 100th team win. Josh Berry, uh, he's just an overall. I think he's a very smart race car driver, and I think he'll definitely be one to watch out this year. I think he'll perform very well in that car. And I think if I had to pick like an underdog for a first career win this season, give me Riley Herbst. And I think if it happens, it'll be on a super speedway.
Yeah.
I've talked highly about Riley Herbst's ability on a super speedway. Um, and the drivers here have also talked well about him too. So I think he could possibly be one to watch.
All right, let's flip gears here. Let's actually go backwards, starting back with you again, Cody. We made our bold predictions for who might win a race for the first time. Let's make predictions for who's going to win the championship. And actually, uh, I'm not sure. We're live right now. I'm not sure if we're able to simultaneously fill out grids here for the chase. And if that's the case, let's go down the line and let us talk about our champion prediction. But let's also try and fill those out and present those here if we have a chance. So, Cody, I will start with you. Do you know who you want to make your champion as you fill out that grid?
Uh,
If not, it's fine too.
yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. You know, I really would like to. I mean, it's going to sound biased, but just from one race here, it definitely looks like Chase Elliott maybe has found his mojo, and I sure hope so as a Chase Elliott fan. Um, but another guy who was strong last year too, Ryan Blaney.
Mhm.
I almost say that he could go on a tear, and I definitely think Ryan Blaney will be a multi-time champion by the time he retires. No doubt in my mind. He's already has one. Um, he's a very good driver.
Almost won last year
Yeah, he almost won back to back
at our
going
car
last year.
links.
So I really think that he has got a good potential. I think this is gonna be a bounce back year for the number one team for Ross Chastain. I think he's gonna find victory lane a few times. I think they're gonna uh, work out the kinks that they needed. I also expect to see this be a big season for Bell again. Bell has really performed well in the last couple seasons. I think he'll do all right. Chase Briscoe, I feel like he'll adapt to the new 19 well, and I would even put Keselowski as a championship uh, driver. To,
Championship threat.
yeah, championship threat.
Did you put Briscoe
Um,
in that group? Is what you're saying?
I wouldn't put Briscoe in that group, but I'd put him as a driver who I would possibly expect to make the round of eight.
Okay.
So, but I'd put Keselowski if they could get going on all cylinders at the beginning of the season. I would put him up there. So right there, um, if I had to pick an early season Final Four, and I mean this is early. I mean we haven't even had a real race yet, but it'd be Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, and Keselowski. So you got three of those, the young guys of the crowd, and then you got a very experienced driver in Keselowski.
All
I think that's a an interesting pick there.
right. Let me ask between Marcus and Dar, have any of you filled out or are currently filling out and want to share what your chase
I'm
grid looks like?
I'm currently filling it out. You want me to screen share it?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a deep
Okay.
dive into.
How do I do this really quick?
Let's see. You see the
Is it the
arrow,
camera icon?
the box with an arrow around it? Present.
Oh, this. Okay. We're gonna go to that tab, share. All right. So I'm
What do we
currently
got?
filling this out so far. So I'm just kind of throwing the part-time guys here. So I've got my categories are champion, final four, contenders, round of 8, round of 12, round of 16, and I got the 17th through 26th place guys, and I've got like the bottom of the barrel guys, and then
Okay.
part-time for those that are like, who's gonna be the best of the part-time cars. I don't really see Colleague having a 13 car, so I'm gonna put that down there. We're gonna go ahead and throw the 44 at the back. Cody Ware, I could see him getting like 30th in points this year. Let's see, 88, Shane Van Gisbergen. Ah, if he doesn't make the round of 16, he'll be like top 20 in points. Let's see, 19, Chase Briscoe, easy around the 12 driver. Josh Berry, I'm gonna say he doesn't make the playoffs, but he does have a chance at winning a race. Ryan Blaney, easy Final Four. Bowman, I see going to the round of 8. The guy just built up so much momentum over the last, last year. After that Chicago win, that just lit a flame under him, So I think he'll do something with that. Of the part-time guys so far, 33 I think is going to be one of the higher ones, since RCR likes to put effort into those cars more than the full-time cars. I say Buscher's a easy round of 8. Actually, yeah, easy round of 8 driver for him. 50 car, we're going to put right there. I think Kyle Busch makes it to the round of 8 or round of 12 this year. I don't see him going much further. William Byron, I'm going to say round of 8 driver. So that means I only have one slot for one more. We're going to throw Chastain in the round of 12 as well. Cindric, round of 12. So these are my guys going on the round of 12. For round of 8, or actually no, we're going to throw Denny. I think Denny makes the Final Four. Round of 8. We'll keep going up the list here. So we've got Cole Custer. I'm going to say he doesn't do that well this year. Granted, it's Haas's first year on his own, and we've seen in the past that Gene Haas, when he's run a team by himself, it's not really gone that well. I think Ty Dillon finishes behind Cody Ware in the points.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Dillon, I think he'll be a little better this year. Chase Elliott. Oh, actually, I might have to switch around my Final Four. Hold on. There we go. Let's see. Ty Gibbs, round of 16 driver. Todd Gilliland. Man, this is a really tough one. I'm gonna say he's gonna barely miss out. Gregson, I'll put in front of Austin Dillon. Justin Haley, also just in front of Austin Dillon. 35. Oh, that's Herbst. We'll say he goes. Man, I don't know. It's either he's just in front. I'm gonna say he's just in front of Justin Haley, right here. So let's see. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so only 2 more guys for this area. Jimmy, I say he's the 3rd best part-time car so far. Hocevar, round of 16, easy. Eric Jones, it's just hard to see him doing much with that legacy team, man. And while we're talking about let's see. I say Buscher gets screwed somehow, actually. While we're talking about legacy, though, we're gonna just throw Nemechek right there. We'll put him in front of Ty Dillon. Keselowski. So I think Keselowski's at the age now. He's getting a little older. We're starting to see it with him. I think round of 16 exit, along with his teammate Buscher. Actually, we'll throw Buscher there, and we'll throw Briscoe out of the round of 16. Now you got Larson right there, round of 8 driver. Logano, I think it's an odd year, so he's gonna miss the playoffs. That leaves us with some choices. Bubba's also gonna barely miss the playoffs again. The 91, we'll put him ahead of 62. Actually, we'll say the 91 is gonna be the best part-time car. 71, Michael McDowell. Or wait a minute, hold on. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
Good choice.
We'll throw McDowell. We'll throw him ahead right there. Okay, so Eric Jones is 26 so far. Oh, I forgot about Priest. Okay, Eric, you're going to 27th. Ryan Priest will be. I think so. I think some of these guys. So here's what I think is gonna happen. Right, Priest is gonna be top 16 in points, but you're gonna have a couple guys who are outside the top 16 win a race. So you're gonna have Kyle Busch will win, Cindric will win, and Hocevar will win. Maybe Keselowski will also be outside the top 16, right?
Don't forget
These
about Van Gisbergen.
these guys will. Well, I say Van Gisbergen is gonna win after the playoffs start.
Oh,
So the
Hmm.
Roval,
that's bold.
yeah, either the Roval or Talladega. Okay. Anyways, 19 points. So I think Priest is gonna be just ahead of
Oh, a
Bubba.
yelping dog.
McLeod will put him behind. We'll put him behind Jimmy. Oh, I forgot. Okay, so Reddick. Here's what I'm gonna say. We'll throw Reddick in the final four, and Blaney gets another championship.
All right.
Suarez. Okay, we're gonna move Herps down here. Sorry, Riley. Suarez will be behind. We'll say Todd Gilliland. The 38 car. Oh my God, this is getting hard. I mean, it gets a little hard. When you got all these guys.
It's a little what?
Okay, Zach.
Bro.
All right, so we'll put Gregson down here.
Inside the NBA moment.
Gilliland. Let's see. So that's a part-time. I don't see Stenhouse doing this good this year, to be honest with you. I don't. So Hike to a Motorsports hasn't. I don't see them do it much. I think they shut down after this year or next year.
Damn.
That's my personal thoughts. The 15, since that's a part-time car, we'll say it's ahead of the. We'll say it's ahead of 62. And then 13, I'll put at the back. So yeah, so the way I have this going is right. Hocevar just has a bad first round. Whatever. Darlington will be his bright spot for Hocevar. Same with Briscoe. Then I think Keselowski will just struggle, and then Ty Gibbs, being a little younger, I could see it going either way between either Ty Gibbs or Austin Cindric. It could go either way. And then I think Kyle Busch has a little rebound this year. It's gonna be interesting. I think he'll barely miss out on the round of 8. Actually. Um, let's see.
All right.
And
I
then
mean,
for the final four, Bowman will barely miss that to Elliott.
we see what you got here, Marcus. This is the only one we'll see actively build. There's
Yeah.
Derek. Did you finish yours?
Nah, let me just real quick admit. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I got mine finished.
Let's see. I stopped mine.
Yeah, I'll go and present
And
mine.
Cody, did you even build one?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
We should watch Cody actively build his. Oh, okay.
So I did it not quite like Marcus's, but it's still relatively.
The-
I put the fringe drivers instead of like 27 through 36, and then like eliminated
Yeah.
who I think are gonna be
Derek,
eliminated.
do you have a good reason for that fourth guy in the final four?
Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
I think he. No.
Oh,
I think he will have a good season though. Like
Okay.
honestly, I do think he will for sure make the round of 12, probably a round of 8, and the final four is kind of a stretch. I get it, but I do think last season was you know a dark spot, but he will bounce back this year and get that in the 4th place.
My
Just
question.
yeah,
Go
go ahead.
ahead. No,
No,
my question is, how in the hell do you have Eric Jones making it?
he's gonna get a random win.
Okay.
That's what I'm betting on here.
Okay.
I do. He won't have the points to He'll probably be at the end of the fringe if he doesn't get the win. But
I don't think those cars will even compete anywhere besides the super speedway, and he does know how to win at Talladega. He hasn't won at Talladega,
right,
but he's come close. And
He should have won in 2020 in
yeah,
theory if they
that's what I'm
penalized
thinking of.
both drivers that
And he was
committed
like really
crash.
close in 2022 spring Talladega.
He was like one good
Yeah,
block
he got
away from it.
turned there at the end.
No, he didn't. He just didn't block right, and he got passed by Chastain.
Oh, who am I thinking of then?
You're thinking of Kurt Busch, who got turned into Bubba Wallace.
All right.
anyways,
Yep,
yeah.
that's Derek's look. Cody, do you want to present one?
Yeah, I might as well.
Are we gonna have to watch you finish building yours, Cody?
By the way, my champion's Reddick. To
Oh
put
yeah.
that out there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Almost done with the show here. There's Cody's.
So yeah, this is what I think. It gets a little messy, I think, in some places. I think there are gonna be some drivers that have but for the most part, I got Blaney as a champion. Um, I actually have him over Elliott. Um, then you have Bell, and I'm gonna stick with Keselowski in the final four. Very bold pick there. I got Larson, Busher, Briscoe, and Hamlin in the round of eight. The round of 12 exits were uh, Ty Gibbs, Chastain, and Bowman and Byron. And the round of 16 guys that will be out will be Kyle Busch, Logano, Van Gisbergen, and Reddick. I got drivers like Jones, Barry, Bubba Wallace just missing it. A host of are missing it. I definitely still feel like they'll have decent seasons for themselves. I got Todd Gillen and Cole Custer. I I know I kind of spoke highly on Gregson, but I still feel like he just needs to find the consistency. I feel like this will be a little bit of a bounce back year though for John Hunter. I feel like Suarez is gonna fall off a lot this year. Same with Priest. Priest, I feel like he just won't adapt well. Allmendinger, I honestly feel like he should just stay in the Xfinity Series. Cindric, I feel like he's gonna fall big time. McDowell, I don't see him doing well in the new ride. Stenhouse, I think I'm gonna agree with Marcus. Austin Dillon's gonna be where he belongs. Riley Herbst, I don't. I mean, I talk good about him too, but I just don't think that car is gonna be very competitive compared to his two teammates. I think it's gonna be a very big difference in speed. And Justin Haley, I feel like people are gonna find out that it wasn't the driver, it was the car. So
Yeah.
BJ
I
McLeod, then you got Ty Dillon and the rest.
I want to point out that you put Shane Van Gisbergen in there. You expect him like a road course win?
I expect him to get two, at
Two.
least two road course wins.
What road
Interesting.
courses do we have in those? So we have Coda, we
I
have
I see him winning Coda, and I
and
see him winning
Chicago.
Chicago or Sonoma.
Yeah.
Chicago, I think I could see him winning Sonoma, and I could see him winning the Glen. You know, the two OG NASCAR road courses.
Mm. Well, I wasn't able to build one. I will. I'm pretty adamant on my championship prediction. I might post my full grid later this week, but my champion prediction is Christopher Bell, someone that's come close and he's just kind of, to me, he's just kind of like year in and year out a regular championship threat. That's kind of where he's ascended to now. I mean,
Mhm.
the reason he stands out to
I
me is
agree.
because look at how he's starting the year not NASCAR racing. I mean, going out winning some dirt races already against Kyle Larson. Uh, Kyle Larson, of course, got the Chili Bowl win, but Christopher Bell just looks fiery to me, and he's come close, like I said, and why not? This is a very versatile, very top of the line racer that is needs to be respected as a championship threat every single season at the start of it. I think he is the best driver that the Gibbs camp has to offer. I put him above Hamlin at this point in his career. Hamlin's still good, but I think Christopher Bell is ascending into his prime, and I wouldn't be surprised a bit if he won his championship. That being said, that one was probably one of a segment that ran a bit longer than anticipated. I don't know, we probably won't do a grid, that often, but this is our preview for 2025 episode, and we want to dive into all the ways we can. We are at the end of the show, just about. We do have time for one more segment before we wrap up. This is where I hand it off to Cody, who wants to add some notes on the latest happenings in dirt.
Yeah, if you give me about 10 more laps, I can tell you who's going to win the first USAC Nelson Energy Sprint Car event of the year. But no, the Winter Nationals or the Gator Nationals, whatever, Dirt Car Nationals, whatever you want to call it here, at Volusia, Ocala, it used to be East Bay as well. And then I know Golden Isles has also had an event. Um, that's all going on right now. All the big series here are starting up. We saw the World of Outlaws sprint cars start up, and boy, oh boy, they did not disappoint. Christopher Bell uh, is going to give Larson a run for his money this year, I believe, in 410 sprint cars. Larson, and when he shows up to the track, he is more than likely guaranteed a podium than a DNF. And so on nights when he doesn't make it to the main, it's almost bigger news than when he wins. So the first night that they raced against each other, It was a photo finish at Volusia. Bell bested Larson. I do believe that was Bell's first win since 2019. They said with the World of Outlaws. Um, then Larson beat him the next night, and then Bell did not compete. I do not believe on Saturday. I'm not 100% on that though, but I didn't see him in the finishing results of the main, and I can't see him not making the main unless he wrecked, and I would have seen him wreck. But Larson goes out and wins the Gator. He had never won Evolution until this weekend, which is very shocking to me. But was able to get not one but two wins there. We saw Ocala with East Bay closing last year. Sadly, Speed Weeks has moved to Ocala for the Lucas Oil late model or Lucas Oil late model series. Great racing there. Uh, we also saw some racing with the I think they call it the micro mods. Those put on a good show. Those had a bunch of big wrecks though as well, and that got brought up a lot about the safety of the cars nowadays. There. Speaking of safety, we had a scary incident involving Freddie Carpenter on Saturday afternoon during the heat race. Ross Robertson on a restart got loose up high, got up into the wall, and Freddie, who had already committed to the outside, slammed into the back of Ross, and he was very shaken up, had to be cut out of the car. Once he got out of the car, though, he was able to walk to the ambulance, holding his ribs, though. But the angle in which he hit Ross Robinson was a very, very odd angle. The car was absolutely destroyed on the passenger side, from the sheet metal to the frame. Freddie said that the back end of Ross Robinson's cars hit the halo of his race car, and so big incidents like that. Freddie here a few years ago had a big wreck at East Bay where he also had to be cut out. So Florida's not been the nicest here to Fast Freddie, but good to see that he was able to get out here. He was definitely shaken up, definitely bruised, but good to see that he was able at least to get away from that um, for the most part unscathed. Tonight is the start of the USAC National or USAC NOS Energy Sprint Car Series. The midgets I do not believe start till August, or I mean August, April. And the Silver Crown I think they start in March. So still lots going there. The Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia go on till the 15th. So they're still racing there. We've seen a lot of big names like Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen. Um, I'm trying to think who else. Kenny Wallace has raced out there and the modified. So there's also been the Asphalt Series at New Smyrna, and it was just announced today that Christopher Bell will be racing there tomorrow. So that'll be cool to see that. But other than that, dirt racing is starting to pick up. It dies down just a little bit in March and picks right back up in April through the summer. So can't wait to see what the rest of the season shows for us.
All right, thank you for that, Cody. Always a lot to say about dirt racing, but that does take us to the end of the show. But before we wrap up, we'll look at the history of the chat, see if there's any notable things to speak on. And we did have a question come in from RN Rux Racing Network. Sent in a question ahead of time.
What a guy.
Then RN, I mean, thank you for watching, man. I thank you for sticking around.
Big fan.
And RN was wondering how many cars do you think will finish lead lap in the Daytona 500? Derek, why don't we start with you?
Let's go with uh an optimistic number of 19. That is what I'm hoping will be, and then probably like a 5 to 6 lap down, and the rest are out of the race.
All
You know
right.
what? Keep in mind though, we don't have a DVP anymore.
Well, well, it's still hard to finish on the lead lap sometimes. So,
Yeah, but I mean, I think we'll see more people finish though now.
yeah, I guess if you get a late caution, even if they're really slow, they could stay on the lead lap for two laps. Well, why don't you add your answer, Marcus?
I'm gonna say 25.
All right, Cody.
Um, Good question there, Art and Cup Series here if you are. Um, I, I Marcus, you had 25.
I said 25. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
I
I'm stuck
think we
between
have
two
a
numbers.
clear.
I'm stuck between the 15 or 21. So anywhere in between those two. I'd probably go to 15 though. I feel like a lot of those late race wrecks are gonna take out a lot of competitors.
And my answer is 14. I don't know how. I wonder what the lowest amount is. Not 50s or 60s, but like
Like the
modern.
modern era.
I can't think of it. That'd be something to look up. But on that note, we will wrap up. This is our final show before NASCAR season is officially underway. Once again, thank you to our regular panelists, Derek Smith, Marcus Vanderlee, Cody Still, and all of those active in the chat today, especially our and Rocks Racing Network for sending in a open discussion question. And we will always continue to work on improvements for making this show as we continue forward. But from now on, we're in the flow of the NASCAR season. It'll be exciting to recap every race, every episode going forward, as well as look ahead. It'll be a recurring thing, and we're always going to come up with fun trivia as well. I think that was well received. Don't forget, we'll open up that fantasy league. I'll try to post more info about how to join that easily. We hope to get as much of you as possible to join. But for now, I'm Zach Tefelsky. Zachary MT is my YouTube channel, and we hope to see you next episode. Same time next week, Monday, 8 p.m. East, for episode 4. Enjoy the Daytona 500, guys. We will see you next time.